The prayer we're going to pray very soon is concerning the Igbo race. And that is the burden I want to share. Tomorrow I will go into the main theme of this topic. What is it about us? The Lord opened my eyes and showed me two people. In the history of this nation, whenever we come into civilian rule, in the history of this nation, two people have stood up to say that I will be the president of this nation. The first person was the man called Zik, Nnamdi Azikiwe of Africa. And do you know when that one happened? In 1983. That was when the man stood up and said, I want to be the president. And do you know what happened within those times? Strife from nowhere. Even Awolowo and the men that were supporting him just became they just hated him. They just strive. One thing or the other started happening. And 20 years after, another man rose, who we have always acclaimed to be our leader, the person, Odumegwu Ojukwu, in 2003. 20 years after, no other person rose up to vie for that position that shook the nation. He was the one who rose up from this clan. 20 years after, in 2003. He came third in that election. And the Lord opened my eyes. Do you know why he came third? Hatred. The Lord told me that at that point in time, we were in what was called Sitna. Hatred. But will that deter this clan? No. And 2023 will be how many years again? 20 years after. 20 years after. Another person from the Igbo clan is coming out again to be the president. And because he has risen up again, all hell is let loose to see that prophecy will not come to pass. Everything has been rising up to fight. 20 years down the line again, another man has risen up. And the devil is fighting to see that we will repeat another cycle of slavery again. And do you know if it happens, do you know how long we will have to stay again? Another 60 years for another prophecy for us to come to that time again. And sir, men need to rise to say no to the devil. Men need to rise to say, I cannot be a slave in my father's land. Men need to rise to say, enough, I know what is hanging over my head. The first time it happened, sir. You know, the man that was meant to rule this nation was meant to be Zik of Africa. If you are a student of history, it was meant to be him that will rule this nation. When we gained our independence, but you know they changed him to the point that Tafewa Balewa became the person. And it had to take him 20 years to rise up again. And the Lord said to me, this is your time for Rehoboth. But if you slip down the line, the enemy will change you. And it is time that men who understands how to bear the burdens of the Lord, how to handle territory, can arise and tell the Lord, I am tired of being a slave.